Now for the Rewa A against Suba B, where the Rewa A defending the southern end of the National Stadium. Nico and Balavarata are about to kick off. There's the whistle for the start. Nico kicks towards the grandstand sideline. My ball up here, and Johnny Rangitha watches it go over the grandstand sideline. Again, another one of those wasteful efforts with the ball going into touch on the full. They have little option, they have no option but going back into the centre. So we wait for the restart. Samisi Rangitha and Nambarisi, the forwards for Suba. Savo. And it's Carmeli who's out there. I thought it would have been Tom Lovo. Carmeli, I thought, had pulled a muscle in the earlier one. As we take the scrum once again, the ball wasn't hooked. Carmeli in playmaking position. Tavita wide out at Rover and Tomasidama on the wing. And it goes, and they're flicked it way by Savo onto Carmeli. Carmeli had a little option, but to kick, he lifts it over the forwards of Rewa. Ball coming loose and down onto the ground that time. Manase turns defence into attack as he gets up with the ball. Nico gets it infield and comes across to the grandstand sideline. Here with ball is Marley. Marley goes down the grandstand sideline, stops it, turns it back infield. Nguki Rewa gets it across this time to Maika. Maika goes through the gap. He's caught from behind. Flicks one infield. Nambarisi intercepts. Gets it on to Semisi. The ball knocked forward there. The referee said we'll take the scrum. The scrum right on the centre line with Suba to put it in. And this will be Savo to put it in for Suba. And it goes, Savo's got it, gets it away. Out it goes to Carmeli. A little tip kick over the top. He's tackled from behind. The advantage is his. But the penalty against Rewa. And the finger pointed to Sakiasi Vonalangi. And Carmeli not at all well. And Carmeli on the ground. He might be more injured. He manages to struggle to his feet. They hold up play for just a moment. And Rongi, they're going to take the kick. Rongi, they're going to take the kick towards the grandstand sideline. Holds play up as he waits for his teammate Carmeli to get a little bit of rest. And I see Carmeli was well wrapped around the thigh, but I'm perhaps surprised that he stays on the field. I'd imagine Tom Lovo will come on for Suba as we have Mali to throw the ball in. And it goes, and taken there, and back it comes to Mali from Waisiki. And over the grandstand sideline, they kick it once again on the 10-metre line, Rewa territory. No score in this one, been going 2 3/4 minutes as we wait for Suba's Nambarisi to throw it in. Waiting for it. It's almost as if the players are listening to the announcement on the ground. There's Nambarisi waiting there. In it goes, a long one right over the back. Taken by Rongi, that gets it out there to Tavita Vonalangi, gets his toe to it. Bounces off Nico Balavarata's shoulder. He gathers the ball again. Kicks forward and chases after it. Racing back for it then is Savo. Savo will beat Nico to it, but Nico gets the kick and drives it too hard, as it had been Savo who didn't get a touch of the ball, overran it. Nico got his toe to it and kicked it deep over the dead ball line. Waiting now for the restart of play. A dropout 22 it'll be to Tavita Vonalangi to take it. 3.5 minutes into the first half. Waiting for it now, and it's going to be Tavita Vonalangi to kick. Tavita's kick, a long one, stops short, bounces high, makes it difficult as Rewa takes it and gets it infield to Marley. Marley gets it into Vonalangi and throws it back. Marley goes back to take it inside his own half. Marley kicks and then rebounds it back off Servo. Racing across onto the terrace side of the field is Maker. Maker inside his 22, evades the tackle, beats a second man. Tom Dharma after him. Michael feeds it over to Nico Balavarata. Onto the opener comes Sakiasi. Over the halfway line he goes. He's pulled down from behind. Gets it on to Nico. Nico's got good support, and on it goes then to Waisiki. And Waisiki with the goal line open. A bad pass from Nico. Waisiki dropped it to the ground, knocked it forward, and the scrum to go down on the 22-metre line. And here again we find Rewa with a wealth of possession, but they're not able to penetrate, nor are they showing what you might think would be a better combination. It's Savo on the 22-metre line to put it in for Suba. The referee's telling the forwards just take it steady until the ball goes in. Then it comes and out on the grandstand sideline. Kameli unable to get in, and it's scooped up by Nguki Rewa. Nguki Rewa caught from behind, feeds it back in, gives it into Waiseki, and Waiseki just able to jog over and waits for somebody to come to him, and the try awarded. A try awarded, Nguki Rewa scooped up the loose ball. Kameli suffering from the injury, and I think he'd probably be better for his team if he went off, and Tom Dharma calling for Tomasi Lovo to come on. And that let the side down there, Suba, and Rewa in for the first try of this second semi-final. The try scored by Masi Rewa. Nico the man to see whether he can convert. Nico does. 6 points to 0. Rewa defeat Suba B in the second semi-final. 5 3/4 minutes into the half, and Tomasi Lovo has come on. Kameli has come off. It's a shame. Kameli, a very enterprising player, has shown wonderful form throughout the first 7 weeks of the sevens season this year, and really has contracted an injury. Taken up in here by Sakiasi, feeds it across on the ground, bounces up to Nguki Rewa, reverse pass up to Male. Male caught behind, and through it goes this time nicely to Anasa, and Rewa on the run again. Nico Mbalavarata, Tom Lovo coming across, and Tom Lovo will get a hold of him. A beautiful tackle on Nico, but Nico was able to dive and score. It just shows Nico not quite as fast as he used to be. Tom Lovo caught him in the corner, and Rewa have gone further ahead now with Mbalavarata try. Just managed to make it. He had it wide open, and it wasn't quite as fast as we'd seen him in years gone by. In times gone past, you'd see Nico leaving all the opposition behind him. But this time, Tom Lovo, with an extra special effort, caught him right in the corner, but it didn't prevent the try. And that would appear to be the whistle indicating that it's half-time of the second semi-final, with Rewa A leading Suba B by 10-0, and a kick yet to come. Anasa trying to add the extra points from the grandstand sideline. The ball falls over just as he was about to make his approach. Once again, Anasa placing the ball. All his own players have come back inside the new defensive area. As there Anasa kicks, it looks good direction. It's just outside the right-hand upright, so they change over now at 10-0. Rewa leading Suba, and it's an uphill run now for Suba. Suba with two certainly good prospects for selection in today's team. Definitely a prospect, Rongiva, and Semisi also with a chance of getting a Fiji jersey. Waiting now for Savo to kick off. Ready to clear towards the grandstand sideline. Savo does. That's a better kick. Right up and ready for it with Semisi. Taps it down, gives it Numberisi. Infield it goes. Savo onto Tavita Von Lange. Savo doubling around the outside. Out to Dharma it goes. Ran into Tom Lovo. Lovo in the way. Tom Dharma pulled to the ground just outside the 22. Flicked up and come back to Savo. Savo a little wee chip kick forward. Racing after it. Tom Lovo. Caught. Nico Mbalavarata stops the ball, and the penalty against Rewa. Obstruction of the kicker, and a penalty to Suba. Savo given it 15 metres out from the goal line, 10 metres in from the terrace side of the field. Infield it comes, and this time it's Numberisi, slips to the ground as he tried to change direction. Gathered back in there this time by Waiseki. Waiseki puts a long kick towards touch, and that will take Rewa out of their own troublesome area. And the ball into touch now, 10 metres outside the 22 on the terrace side of the field. Waiting for the ball to be thrown into the line, and we've gone in this second half. We'll have to sack Matai. He's forgotten to turn the clock on for us, as we've got now into the line out it comes, and back along the open green side, and there it is, Savo. He gives it outside of Savo, a nice reverse pass from Micah to Nico. Nico onto Nguki Rewa, a little wee chip kick forward there, and Nasa racing up after it over the 22. Back then is Savo to take it, feeds it back in field to Dharma. He's taken an tackle into the ground and held, flicked the ball away, given it to Tavita Bonalangi across the far side of the field. Savo lifts it high into the air, but doesn't find touch. Micah racing forward, then sets up the counter-attack. Nguki Rewa finds his way through a gap. A beautiful dummy, and Nguki Rewa's away. And Nguki Rewa will find it under the goalpost. A lovely piece of play. He flicked his hips left, he moved them to the right, and he was through the gap. And with a little point from Captain Sakiasi Vonalangi, he said, put it underneath the post. He finished off the 25-metre run and has put Rewa further into the lead by 14 points to 0. Nguki Rewa, certainly a star this morning. Didn't get the selection in the quarterfinal for his side, but back and showing good form now with it's Ballavarata to take the conversion, raises the flags, 16 points to 0. Rewa ahead, and I'm sure that we're going to see a Rewa A versus Suba A final in the final of the National Bank sponsored National Sevens Championships. We're waiting now for Suba, slowly bringing the ball forward. I think they sense that victory is against them. Savo hurrying it forward now. And this might just change a little thinking as the Rewa forwards commanding over the Suba B forwards. And there it drives. My ball in there says... and it's knocked through to Wrong-Either. Wrong-Either was going to kick, changed his mind, gave it out to Samisi, and Samisi forced over the grandstand sideline, 8 metres outside the goal line. Good piece of work by Wrong-Either. Wrong-Either, Samisi, the pair of them in the forwards there, and we wait for Male to throw the ball in for Rewa on defence. Male just straightening them up as they're ready to throw the ball in. And in account, Waisika's got it, taps it back and gives it to Anasa. And Anasa goes a full circle, clears it into touch, 2 metres outside, 1 metre outside the 22 on the grandstand side of the field. Here we're going to see Suba, Nambarisi to throw it in for Suba. Samisi at the front, Wrong-Either at the back for Suba. We've got Vonalangi at the front and Waisika at the back, and here's Samisi's taken it. He gathers the ball, steps inside a would-be tackler, and in goes Nambarisi and has scored for Suba, but I think that's only academic. 16 points to 4. Samisi it was, 16 points to 4. And a quick attempt by Savo to convert. Not between. 16 points to 4 it remains. And I'm quite certain now that we will see a Rewa A versus Suba A final, which will only serve, of course, to enhance the prospects of the players in Rewa A and Suba A's team. Ballavarata bringing it up. We've got Tangawai coming onto the field, and we've got Waiseki has come off for Rewa. A long kick down towards the goal line, and the referee just tidying it up. A dangerous kick in there by Rewa, and we've got a penalty to Suba, 2 metres outside the 22. Wrong-Either going to take it. Takes it. Tips it infield to Nambarisi, a long one across to Tom Lovo, across to Tavita Vonalangi. Tavita Vonalangi tries to go through the gap, took them with him. Tom Lovo goes wide, gives it to Tavita Vonalangi, trying to go, and he's broken his way through. Over the half, over the 10-metre line, slipped infield, given it wide to Tom Dharma, and Dharma will go in for Suba, scoring in the corner, taken in a tackle, got the ball down, and Suba go up to 8 points, but Rewa have got 16 against them, with surely full-time coming very close to our game, the second semi-final. Savo quickly trying to convert from wide out. It'll be a mammoth task. A long kick, it's a stray, and Rewa hold a lead of 16 points to 8. Bringing it forward, and goodness me, that sun now has turned to rain. The rain is approaching, and I don't think it's over the whole of the ground yet. It's coming from the north end of the National Stadium, and it's one of the reasons why the organisers have been rushing the matches through to try and get them through before rain had come. The rain's upon us now here on the National Stadium at Suba as the kickoff comes. Infield it's taken, not picked up by Sakiasi Vonalang. The ball goes loose, picked up instead by Anasa. And back in it comes Nico Mbalavarata. He's trying to push off the tackles. They pull him to the ground heavily, what's more. And back it comes out onto the open. Nambarisi. Nambarisi goes through the middle. He's given it out to Savo. Savo giving it across to Samisi. It's a forward pass to Samisi, and Samisi races away. But the referee said we'll take the forward pass instead. No try. And Rewa go into the final and will meet up with Suva. Rewa A versus Suva A, with Rewa having defeated Suva B by 60.
Hey, don't go away. No smoking on the ground.
It's perhaps what it was. He's taken back to 5 metres out, and it means a position, the position to Suva for the penalty kick. Poliasi waiting on the spot to take it. Wainingolo flicks it up to him. And he goes, Poliasi flicks it out onto the left, out onto Vessi, and swings it back infield. And here racing over and going in to score the try is Rosari, changing direction. He came infield, veered out towards the corner flag, and Rosari has opened the account for Suba. And that was made to look so easy, with Suba scoring the opening try of the semi-final against Loka. Rosari a try. He scored it 12 metres to the right of the upright, and Sarevi will have the chance to add the extra points. Waiting for Sarevi. Crowd poised now. Sarevi just walks forward, chips it, and through it goes. 6 points to 0. Suva over Loka, and 2 minutes gone in the half. The sun streaming down, and I think by now pretty near all the spectators are gathered on the main stadium area, and we would have 15,000 spectators here this afternoon. 15,000 to witness the National Bank of Fiji National Sevens finals on the National Stadium, and there it is. Aliki clears it off towards the sideline. Vessi takes it and flicks it way back on the 22-metre line to Poliasi. He's eventually taken in a tackle, picked up by Vessi once again from an offside position onto to Sarevi, to Vessi, back to Sarevi. Sarevi sends it across to the far side. where Wainangolo goes up over the 22-metre line. He was going to have him on, pushes off a tackle, and back into the centre it comes. Vesey comes forward, 10 metres outside the 22. On defence, forward it goes, out onto the open. A pass thrown behind Sarevi, and in coming to get it this time is Philemoni Seru. Overhead to Sarevi on the 10-metre line, and Sarevi just chips it forward there. Racing back to get it then is Levia, and it beats Levia and Penny of Lotoka over the grandstand sideline on the 22, and it was almost as though he had a leg break on at that time, Sarevi, as it went into touch, and the referee's whistle's gone for not straight. He's asked them to put it in once again. To be put in from the grandstand sideline, this time Deary to put it in for Lotoka, with Wainangolo at the front, Rasari at the back for Suba. And in it comes from Wainangolo, takes it, goes on his own. He's got Rasari there with him. The pass right over the top. Kitty Rundrundra intercepts. Charlie is the man who pushes off a tackle, a would-be tackle on him. And down on the ground, Kitty Rundrundra throws it wide once again. Out onto the open, double around from Maliki. Over the 10-metre line. Levia was going to go down the sideline, changed his mind, comes back infield, given it on this time to Penny. Penny goes up to the 22, nobody will get Penny, and Penny's going to try score the try for Lotoka. And that was a reluctance on Suba's part to go across and tackle. The bulk of the Suba players stayed on the open side, expecting the tackle to be on Levia. Levia was too fast for them. He just kept them at bay as he was very much working sideways, moving sideways, and eventually then suddenly put on a spurt, and Levia of Lotoka has scored handily enough for this to be converted. We'll wait and see whether Kitty Rundrundra can do so. Looks too as if Penny might have a hamstring trouble for Lotoka, as Kitty Rundrundra from 10 metres to the left of the upright, about to try and convert. Moves forward, flags are up, 6 points all. Well, that was an interesting one, really, from the point of view that Suva didn't go in to take the tackle. They ran alongside, expecting Lotoka to clear the ball, and Lotoka didn't clear it at all. And the shame of it, and the good thing for Lotoka, is that they had room to move in, and a good try converted by Rajendrandra for the teams to be level after 5 minutes at 6 points all. Sarevi to take the kick. He does so, finds space, then bounces back inside the 22, taken inside the 22 there by Aliki, and Aliki clears it into touch on the terrace side of the field, with the sun shining brilliantly on the large crowd gathered around the centre line of the terrace across there. Many seated, many standing, and most shaded from the sun with umbrellas, multicoloured umbrellas. A very picnic-like sight here on the National Stadium this afternoon. In it comes, tapped back by Lotoka. Kitty Rajendrandra runs and opens it up, gives it out onto the open there. And Lotoka just held up for the moment. Back infield it comes, and Aliki, a chip kick overhead, races up after the ball, runs away towards the grandstand sideline. Aliki stops it from going, put his foot into touch as he went to thrust it back infield, and into touch 4 metres inside the 22. But Lotoka showing a lot of enterprise on attack and going very well indeed. Kitty Rundrundra, the third Lotoka forward, playing at halfback for the moment, as we have the two Suba forwards. Wainangolo tapping it back to Poliasi, gets it out to Sarevi. Sarevi standing flat-footed, moves it out to Lameki. Lameki chip kicks it forward towards the touch on the far side of the field. No real race after that ball as it ran away like a bullet over the sideline, 4 metres outside the 22. Deary for Lotoka to put it in. 6 points all, and it's gone 7 minutes. There it is. There is the whistle once more. As in it went, Wainangolo jumped through the line and took it, but they change over now. And Lotoka level with Suva, and if anything, I would find it rather unexpected for Lotoka to have got as close to Suva in the first half as this. But maybe it is that the Suva forwards and backs combined are taking it easy in this half. They found it, however, I think, Matai, the fact that they have not had a wealth of possessions we might have expected. I think Loka has had a lot more ball than we might have imagined. Well, there's a long one that's coming. It'll be kicked down to Charlie, and Charlie is rotated around. He's gone towards the corner flag. He's cut back infield. Bessie up. Bessie won't catch him. And Loka goes into the lead. A try scored right from the kickoff. Charlie had taken it just outside his 10-metre line, and he spun like a top and then headed off down the sideline. I felt that he would have scored in the corner. He opted to bring it infield 10 metres short of the corner, shook off the only defender, who was Vesey, and as he turned infield, Vesey couldn't keep up with him, and it was Charlie who scored for Loka. Take Loka into the lead by 10 points to 0. Kitty runs and Rundra's kick yet to come. Kitty to try and convert from 10 metres to the right of the upright, back 17 metres out from the goal line, and the crowd totally pleased with Loka's effort. Kitty Ratandrundra moves forward. He's been on the mark with most of these kicks before, and he's on it again. 12 points to 6. And Suba are going to have to work to pull it out of the bag now. This would be the upset of the tournament if it was that Loka, with a team of virtual unknowns, was able to capture the crown from Suba in the semi-finals and go on into the final. In the final, they have the option of meeting up, or the option of meeting up with the winner between Rewa A and Suba B, as off the kick goes. And it's taken by Charlie again. This time he opts to throw it infield, gets it infield to his halfback, who falls to the ground, manages to get up again here. Vesey recovers it. Vesey goes across, flicks a reverse pass, picked up by Sarevi. On it went to Wanangolo. Wanangolo up to the 22-metre line and moves it back to Poliasi. Poliasi then again receives the outside pass to Sarevi. Sarevi surrounded. They can't go through that gap. And it's picked up by Ratandrundra. Aliki brings it away. Infield it comes this time. And Loka in full cry once again, but they're caught from behind. The ball comes to Wanangolo. Wanangolo without any support there goes down into the ground. Some stomping that time. Some stomping, and Ndiri got himself just a little bit of treatment for stomping on Wanangolo on the ground. And the penalty against Loka. I think Deary might have got it in the eye. On the ground is Iliki. He says he's all right, and he returns to his position as Poliasi takes it. Poliasi goes forward up to the 10-metre line, throws a dummy. He's gone through on his own. He pushed off a tackle, gave it to Sarevi. Sarevi breaks the Sarevi was able to make those little legs pump fast enough to get him beyond the opportunity of a tackle, and then it was almost as if he slid sitting downwards to place the ball on the ground. But Salevi, the delight of the crowd, was the man who scored the try after Poliasi had made the break and opened it for Suba. Sarevi to attempt his own conversion as Loka lead for the moment by 12 points to 10. Sarevi gathered himself a bit of turf to place the ball in, and there he chips it over. 12 all. 12 points all, and we've gone 2 minutes and 45 seconds of the second half of the first semi-final here of the National Bank sponsored National Sevens tournament on the National Stadium. And the National Bank, I remind you, bring you this commentary from the National Sevens. Peter bringing it up to halfway to take the kick towards the grandstand sideline with 3 minutes gone in the second half, 4 minutes to go. Loka defending the southern end of the National Stadium, driven towards the grandstand sideline. Up high was Vesey, didn't get the ball, scooped up nicely by Loka, flicked back when he was caught in the tackle. Vesey racing through after the ball on the ground. Loka gather it up, and infield it comes. Nicely done, Loka. Loka got the control, and a little tip kick forward from Loka. Up it goes, and it's grabbed by Sarevi. Sarevi counter-attacked. He's got Wanangolo. Wanangolo fumbled the ball for Sarevi, and not Sarevi, Rosari, and out over the grandstand sideline. And Sarevi, I don't think realised the ball had been in touch before, had gone over the goal line, right down to the dead ball line and forced the ball right in the corner of the dead ball line and touch and goal. But the referee has said we'll take the line out, and so it's still 12 points all. 12 points all, and I think the selectors will be scratching their heads out there now. As in it comes, and Raya didn't get it. Comes back to Wanangolo. Back eventually to Poliasi. Poliasi then has a little chip kick. It bounces down into his hands after it was charged. On it goes to Vesey. He's pulled to the ground short by 10 metres. Out it comes to Poliasi. Poliasi goes on his own. Tried to slide underneath and on to Wanangolo. And Wanangolo has scored. Well, that was a matter of Johnny on the spot. Wanangolo was right there. First of all, it was Vesey. He was pulled down. The ball just managed to come to the side of that tackle. Poliasi was there. He too was pulled down and managed to just place the ball to the side. And Wanangolo went through and dived. Wanangolo put Suba in the lead, 16 points to 12. Play gone now, 5 minutes of the second half. Sarevi taking his time to place it down. Time will be the essence now, as only 2 minutes to go before the finalist is chosen at the top end of the draw. Will it be Loka? Will it be Suba A? Will it be Loka A? In fact, they've played well. Level at 6-all at half-time. Loka then conceded to Suba. And here now, Sir Revi trying to convert. It's not converted. 16 points to 12, and all it requires for Loka is a converted try, and they've got a minute and a half in which to do it. I'll need to bring that ball up fast if they're going to have any hope of overhauling the try and conversion, and that's all it will require for Loka to take it away from Suba, and that would certainly be the upset of the tournament if Loka could do it. They won't do it this way. It is out on the full. Kiriadin Ratandrandra watched the ball in front of him go out on the full. He might really have recovered the ball, but it would have been short of the 10-metre line, so there's little option. And a scrum in the centre, 6 minutes and 10 seconds gone in the second half, and 16 points to 12. And Suba go through. There's the whistle. Now we await the arrival on the scene of the #1 teams from Rewa and the #1 team from Suba. I don't believe there'll be any change in the Suba side of Rosari, Wanangolo and Vesey, with Poliasi at half, Sarevi at playmaker. Lameki, I'm certain, will be there as the rover, and Philemoni, I'm certain, will also be out there in capacity of wing. They're going out onto the ground there now. There is Vesey out there, no doubt about it. Wanangolo is out there. There is Rosari. There is Philemoni Seru gone across the far side. We've got Poliasi. It is, in fact, as I suggest to you, Lameki takes up his position almost on the goal line, as it would appear that Rewa are to kick off. And for Rewa, it'll be Wasiki, Mali and Sakiasi. And yes, they're out there now. The halfback will be Anasa. Let me see, yes, Nguki Rewa is down here too. Nico on the wing, in fact, Nico about to kick off. Maker will, in fact, he is out there, Maker too, and the teams exactly as they were given to us earlier in the piece as the top teams from each of the two respective areas. 10-minute finals, these, and the finals of the National Bank-sponsored National Sevens. Fiji's refereeing representative to Hong Kong, Leitholati, controlling the match as it's kicked off from Rewa right back to Suba and goes straight back to Sarevi, taking the fullback berth and drives a long one then from 15 metres out from the crossbar, and a long kick. It races into touch just 5 metres outside the half. In Rewa's territory it is, and across that far side we'll take the first line out of the match. The conditions we speak of, very damp, very wet, and the humidity returned to be very high on the National Stadium. Surprising to me, the large crowd has remained by and large throughout the rain. The umbrellas that we used for shade earlier, we used for shelter later. And indeed, we've got the bulk of them here as into the line it comes, and back out on the Rewa side. Nguki Rewa's knocked the ball forward. Referee's allowed it to go forward. He said it must have come off his foot, and then it comes to Sakiasi. Sakiasi feeds it and loses the ball. It's an intercept. An intercept from Sarevi. Sarevi gives it across left to Lameki. Lameki gives it into Philemoni Seru, and nobody will catch Seru. Seru goes down into the post, and Seru scores for Suba. Nikon Balabarata raced up after him, couldn't make any impression on Philemoni Seru, and I think that's proof in itself that Seru is the fastest man on the field that Fiji's got today, and all the more reason, I believe, why you should need to put him in your choice for the team to go to Fiji, to Hong Kong. And so we've got the first try of the match initiated as the result of an intercept created by Sarevi when the Rewa team looked ever so dangerous midway 22 and halfway, and Sarevi just snapped the ball. He plucked it out of air just so simply and counter-attacked immediately, feeding it on to Seru, and Seru raced away down through a gap. He found the gap himself and scored the try, which Sarevi in turn has converted. 6-0 it is, and Suba ahead following that try from Philemoni Seru, and Philemoni, I say, very hard to displace from the team. Nikon Balabarata bringing it up once again from behind the goalpost, and Nosori, the Rewa side, defending the northern end of the National Stadium. The crowd now settled back to the seriousness of the game of rugby, and will still have in their mind as to whom they will pick for the visit to Hong Kong. Taken nicely there, Rosari couldn't hold it. He was pulled to the ground as he took it, picked up by Wanangolo. Wanangolo sets up the attack. He's got Vesey alongside him. Vesey puts it his toe. He dribbles it forward up to the 22-metre line. Nguki Rewa going back on defence, overruns the ball. Got a shove in the process. It's kicked away, touch and goal. And yes, the penalty against Vesey for handling Nguki Rewa unnecessarily. And this will take the pressure off the Rewa goal as the penalty awarded by Leitholati just 3 metres out from the goal line. Nikon Balavaratu takes it, kicks it for the grandstand sideline, and the ball soars its way into touch, lands on the running track way in the distance. The line out to take place midway 22 and halfway on the grandstand side of the field in front of a hushed crowd. Big crowd here this afternoon. I would think we had all of 15,000 people, and those people have remained patient, intent and well entertained with some wonderful displays of skilled rugby here on the National Stadium, the occasion of the National Sevens. And it comes, and right down the back, Rosari gets it now to Poliasi. Poliasi threw a dummy. He turned it and drove it forward, and a grubber kick along the ground. A lovely piece of play, a good piece of deception by Poliasi there. The ball into touch on the grandstand sideline. Sakiasi had to go over and drive it into touch. This is Vesey to throw it in for the Suba side, and we realise how big both Rosari and Wanangolo are for the Suba side, but they're up against big men in Waisiki, and Sakiasi is there, it's got, and Waisiki gets it this time, thrusts it straight back to Nguki Rewa. Nguki Rewa drives it into touch, and I see Rosari favouring his hand just in there, as though he might have got a knock on his finger somewhere or other. Rosari taking the number 2 berth to Suva, Wanangolo at the number 1. At the front is Sakiasi for Rewa, and at the back is Waisiki with Male running at the half-back berth for Rewa. Just a metre inside Rewa territory now, as in it comes, and up high, tap back, and a penalty. Not a penalty, a free kick it is. Rewa, obstruction in the line, and a free kick to Suba, quickly taken by Poliasi, goes forward and then flicks it out to Sarevi. Sarevi goes wide, gives it back into Wainingolo, the ball left behind and then sprinted away. And here's Lameki, just went in, snapped up the bouncing ball, and Lameki goes through. Not a hand touched on Lameki, and Lameki goes over to score for Suba. Takes it on to 10 points to 0. Lameki getting it underneath the post. And Lameki, who's been an enterprising player right since the latter part of last year, Lameki, I'm sure, has very, very enterprising, very energetic, extremely quick on his feet, deceptive with his hips, and Lameki, I'm sure, will wear the jersey well in Hong Kong if chosen. There it is, the conversion. Sarevi has made it 12 points to 0. And play has gone a mere 5.5 minutes. Suba have had a wealth of possession. They've made the ball work. They've created the play for themselves. They've retained this wealth of possession. And indeed, I see little need to change the composition of the Suba backs for the trip to Hong Kong. As Nico Mbalavarata clears it towards the grandstand sideline, tapped back that time by Waiseki. Not 10 metres, said the referee, as Waiseki is the man who handled it first, inside the 10-metre line. And we come back now for the scrum right on the centre of field. The scrum to go down and Poliasi to put it in. Right in the centre. The referee just pulled him to the side of the muddied patch right in the centre of the soccer circle. As in it goes now, and Poliasi flicks it away straight back to Sarevi, and Sarevi puts a long one in for Lameki to race up after now, and Nguki Rewa's got to cover the field. He goes back towards the corner flag, and a beautiful tackle on him by Lameki. The ball comes loose. Lameki grabs it up, gives it on to Wainingolo. Wainingolo changes direction. Wainingolo first went infield, a beautiful dummy, and a change of direction with a sidestep, and Wainingolo has gone in and given the next try to Suba. 16 points to 0 it is, with Wainingolo very clever, but the man who made it for him was in fact Lameki, the man who scored the last try. Lovely piece of play that time as Lameki went up and caught Nguki Rewa right in the corner. Nguki Rewa, I could understand, didn't really want to send the ball flying into touch as easily he could have, but didn't realise Lameki was so much upon him, and a copybook tackle round his legs. Lameki pulled Nguki Rewa to the ground, and in doing so the ball went loose. Lameki then on his feet like a shot and thrust the ball into a support of Wainingolo, and Wainingolo moved infield, a nice sidestep and dummy, and he moved out and dived. He sprawled over the line at a beautiful try, 8 metres in from the corner. There's Sarevi's kick, it's outside the posts, but be it said, 16 points is a good tally in 7.5 minutes of the first half. The rain here on the National Stadium stopped some time ago, but it left the ground treacherously slippery, and we really are able to appreciate now the players in the drier conditions of early morning and into the afternoon, and now the damp, treacherously slippery conditions of the afternoon. And here now it's sent. Anasa sends a long one, finds space, it comes back, taking it this time was Wainingolo. Wainingolo turns himself, thrusts a long driving kick, rolling end over end. Nguki Rewa inside his 22, goes back to recover, doesn't make the same mistake twice and clears it into touch. This time finding touch 8 metres inside his own half. On this, the grandstand side of the field, and the line out to take place with Suba to throw in. Vessi for Suba will be the man to throw in, just 8 metres inside Rewa territory. And I see a bit of a chat going on between Wainingolo and Sakiasi, former friends in Rewa. They probably still are, for that matter, as it goes. Oh, not a very straight one in the line. Whose advantage it is? Rewa have got it, and the advantage is theirs as back it goes to Anasa. He's caught, he can't hold his foothold. The referee said they got no advantage from it. We'll come back and we'll take the scrum. The scrum to go down now, or has he given Rewa the option? They take the option, and a scrum it is. A scrum to go down 15 metres out and 8 metres inside Rewa territory with 9 minutes gone in the first half, and Suba leading Rewa by 16 to 0. Anasa to put it in for Rewa. On the front rows, the forwards jostling there. The referee not content. He didn't want to have that, and a penalty to Suba given there quickly. Rewa not retiring 10 metres, and A penalty given 10 metres up, and they're quickly taken by Poliasi once again. Took 2 men with him. One Angola goes through and leaves the ball behind. Rosari scooped it up, went another 5 metres. The ball comes out. Across it comes to Lameki, flicked it away to Philemoni across towards the touchline. And as Philemoni finds that Maker breathing down his neck, Philemoni played it safe, kicked it into touch, 8 metres outside the Rewa 22 on the terrace side of the field. The crowd across there, quiet in their appreciation of the talent that they see out in front of them. 7 talented Rewa players, 7 extremely talented Suba players, and there's the whistle for half-time as play continuing. It comes down into the centre of field. Ball come loose. Kunku Rewa's evaded the tackle, flicks one out overhead, gives it on to Nico. There's 3 Suba players on Nico, and it's scrambled out from him. Nomeki with a little weak chip kick overhead is crushed to the ground, and they dive on top of the ball loose, and Rewa over top of it once again, but the referee said half-time. Half-time it is, 10 minutes and 25 seconds, and half-time comes with Suba leading Rewa by 16 points to 0. Well, what a talented first half that is. What a first half of electric happening, with first the try from Philemoni, just streaking away, showing just how fast that man is. And then an enterprising try from Lameki, who picked up the ball on the bounce, came from nowhere and went nowhere, but scored a brilliant try without a hand upon him. And Lameki featuring again in a wonderful try that Wanangola was credited with, but certainly the architect of it was Lameki. So we turn around now with Suba leading Rewa 16 points to 0, and as they turn around in the centre of the ground, we'll take the break here on the National Stadium to hear a message from our sponsors.
The convenience of banking with NBF. Now that's how to be. NBF's flexible. Choose a check or savings account, personal, joint, special purpose, large and charitable organization, or trust account. There's a banking plan designed for you. With NBF, you know your money's safe. We're available anytime you need.
National Bank of Fiji, Fiji's own bank.
Yes, and I remind you that the National Bank of Fiji will be with FM 96 in Hong Kong, and they will sponsor the broadcasts as it happens in Hong Kong on the occasion of the Cathay Pacific and Hong Kong Bank 7-a-side tournament in 3 weekends from now. Be prepared, the National Bank with the national team in Hong Kong joining with FM 96. Did you get the scores of the bowl finals this afternoon here on the National Stadium? Nasino 8-20, Vunindau 10, and in the plate tournament, the finalist Suba C defeating Rewa D by 18 points to 4, as we're just about ready to go again at the start of the second half. And this has Suba defending the northern end of the National Stadium, Sarevi preparing to kick off. Rewa, their backs to the sea rather than the backs to the wall. In the southern end of the National Stadium, the crowd hushed as Laitha Lati says, let's set it in motion. Here it goes, high from Sarevi. Waiting for it is Rewa, gets a touch, gets it back this time to Vonalangi. He can't hold the ball. Ball goes loose. Diving on top of it was Male. Had it scrambled up by Poliasi Tumbulutu. Poliasi goes towards the corner, works his way back into the midfield, and Poliasi has scored again for Suba. Just so simple. No defence on Rewa. They were all looking for the ball to scramble infield, and it came towards the grandstand sideline. Clear for Poliasi. Not a hand laid upon him, and I'm sure that he has stamped his mark again on a ticket to go to Hong Kong. It was interesting early, I thought, that Poliasi Tumbulutu, who perhaps was a little bit suspect according to a potential injury, but Poliasi has shown this afternoon that he's got the drive as he always had. He has the guile, he has the ability, and he sets his backs in motion in a manner that nobody else quite does. Savo has had a great game and a great series of sevens, and I'm sure that we would have been equally well represented had Savo gained the nod over Poliasi, but I don't really think that's possible. Savo has played well right throughout the series for Prisons. He's played remarkably well for the Suva B side this afternoon, and if we didn't have a Poliasi, I'm certain that Savo would be an ideal representative of Fiji in Hong Kong. But Poliasi playing so well, continuing where he left off last year, and I'm sure he will be welcomed just as much as this year as he was last. Rewa lifted high in the air, and Asa sends toward the grandstand sideline, tapped down to the ground. Rosari goes back into Suba territory. They're kicking it away towards Filimoni Seru. He comes back into the midfield, and some obstruction by Suba as Rewa racing through there. Wanangolo says, me? And yes, the referee pointed the finger to Wanangolo, the culprit responsible for the obstruction, and here we have Anasa to kick it. Taking, and he moves it infield, gives it to Sakiasi Vonalangi, tries to force his way through, leaves the ball behind, and it's taken from him by Lameki. Lameki sets the counter-attack up over the halfway, through the 10-metre line it goes. Racing back for it is Nguki Rewa. Lameki on top of him, pushing them out of the way. Handle ball on the ground there from Lameki this time, with referee Laithalati right up there with the play, and the penalty to Rewa, Nguki Rewa taking it. Gives it out wide, Saki to Masi Rewa, gives it across again to Nasser, a long kick towards the corner flag. It bounces awkwardly, racing back is Filimoni Seru, and Filimoni can do nothing as the ball rolls away from him over the touchline, 6 metres inside the 22 on that terrace side of the field. A good crowd remaining here right to the end, and I'm certain that they will all want to know who are the lucky 9, who are the 9 best thought of by the 3 selectors, Peter Hughes, Ilaitia Tuisesi and Rata Kitty, to take the honours for Fiji to Hong Kong. Up high, comes back this time, back to Vessi. Vessi lifts it high into the air. My ball says Nguki Rewa on the 10-metre line of Suba. Flicks it infield, gives it to Micah. Micah gets caught, he's taken to the ground, gives it on to Nico Mbalavarata. He's caught 2 out to Anasa. Anasa feeds it back into the clever little man Nguki Rewa, but Suba intercepted and starts Wanangolo. Wanangolo counter-attacks up to the 10-metre line, leaves it behind, feeds it up to Rosari. Rosari onto Lameki. Lameki out wide onto Sarevi. Sarevi onto the right, gives it to Poliasi. Poliasi was going to kick, changed his mind, starting to put some pace on. Sarevi, no, it's Filimoni Seru, races up after it, and a sliding kick into that by Nico Mbalavarata, just as they do in the round ball game, and Nico Mbalavarata drives it over the grandstand sideline 2 metres from the corner flag on defence. Suba on the attack. We've gone 4 minutes of the second half. Suba leading now by 20 points to 0. Waiting for it as Vessi slowly goes up to throw it into the line. Just over 4 minutes gone, 10-minute spells, remember, and we've got the creme de la creme of Fiji's rugby players here out on the paddock at this moment, and high into the air it comes from Male, clears it into touch, midway corner flag and 22, and at that time, into touch it goes with Suba to put it in, Vessi the man to throw it into either Wanangolo or Rosari. Wanangolo at the front, Rosari at the back, Poliasi running at half, and we've got Male running at half for the Rewans. In it comes, and up high, tapped back by Wanangolo. Poliasi gets it on the bounce, flicks a long one out and goes to Sorevi, and Sorevi just nonchalantly steps back inside and has a snap attempt at field goal. Had plenty of time, plenty of effort, but not enough oomph that time, and the ball away over the dead ball line. The referee has said it is a 5-metre scrum. Maybe a Rewan had touched the ball as it was lifted into the air. Didn't see one, but that's the only way it could be, a 5-metre scrum. Poliasi to put it in for Suba. He's got it, flicks it away this time to Sarevi, comes to the right, comes to the grandstand sideline, and doubling around Sarevi, takes it from Lameki. Sarevi starting to use a little bit of his class and gives it on to Filimoni Seru. Put a little chip kick in and snaffled up nicely by Nico. Nico trying to go forward, but he had knocked it forward when he blocked the kick of Filimoni, and it was stopped. So we've got, that was applause, I guess, for the effort of Nico snapping it up. Beautiful take off the ground, but he had knocked it forward beforehand. As we wait now for Poliasi, almost 6 minutes gone in the second half, to put it into the scrum. The referee pointing his finger to the front row. A bit of discussion going on between the referee and Poliasi for the moment. As Poliasi to put it in once again, got it away to Sarevi, running wide across the field, and reverse pass, but he's found himself through a gap. He slipped back in field. He's coming back to the corner flag, coming back to the right flank of the field. A beautiful piece of play from Sarevi, and Sarevi turns as he was going to go back in field, and he does. He does too. They turned their back on him, and Sarevi goes and scores 4 metres to the right of the right. Yes, and I remind you that the National Bank of Fiji will be with FM 96 in Hong Kong, and they will sponsor the broadcasts as it happens in Hong Kong, the occasion of the Cathay Pacific and Hong Kong Bank seven-a-side tournament in 3 weekends from now. Be prepared, the National Bank with the national team in Hong Kong joining with FM 96. And his own conversion takes it 26 points to nil. 26 to nil, Sir Revi adding his name on the honours list of National Bank sponsored National Sevens. 7.5 minutes gone in the second half of this game as a high kick-off. Wanangolo says my ball, flicks it, was Rosari, flicked it in field, gave it on to Wanangolo, couldn't take it, back out it came on the grandstand sideline, and we see, that's what it is, Joppy has come into the field, Joppy in there, Vessi's come off and Joppy is off. Joppy has come on for Suba. He's got a chance for a run in the final and takes up his position as hooker. In it comes. Rewa have got it. Back out at Cookie. Rewa goes across, gives it in there to Micah, gets caught and feeds it back to Anasa. Anasa up to the 10-metre line. The referee's whistle had gone. Penalty against Suba. Anasa takes it quickly, goes up to the 22, feeds it back in field, gives it to Sakiasi. Referee had said a forward pass to Sakiasi. Forward pass to Sakiasi right on the 22-metre line. 8 minutes and 20 seconds gone, and you can put a ring around Suba's victory at least by 26 points to nil with a minute and a half to go. The crowd still remaining fixed and firm, not many leaving the ground at this stage as we see Poliasi to put it into the scrum for Suba. There it goes, and Poliasi manages to slip clear, goes back on his own, clears it for touch. He had Sarevi sitting behind him, and Poliasi saved Sarevi any responsibility, any task there, and Poliasi found it into touch, 10 metres outside the 22. And I think one or two things emerged that really just confirm those top players from Suba, and I have no doubt in my mind at this stage that the players for Suba, in the backs anyhow, well, are certain to be amongst those named shortly. As the ball comes out this time to Sakiasi, and he's taken in a tackle, held down there, Poliasi gets it away to Waiseki, but the intercept comes from Wanangolo fighting them off. He goes down to the ground, turns on the ball as he goes down to the ground. It's snaffled up in there by Rewa, who is at Mali, who's got it, and the penalty against Suba, handling the ball in the tackle on the ground, just 8 metres out from the corner flag and the grandstand sideline. Waiseki going to take it for Rewa. 1 minute to go, less than it. As out it comes, on it goes Anasa, and he spilled the ball forward. Lameki says, well, I'll have that, and he grabs it, and Lameki clears it into touch, bounces on the fall, just goes over the grandstand sideline, and there was a wonderful show of shiny white teeth as Lameki was very satisfied with that small effort. Waiting now for Mali to throw it in for Rewa, 5 metres outside the 22. There is the whistle, and the indicators shown from the referee that he's acknowledged. As out it's kicked to Micah. Micah on the 10-metre line, looking to go over the advantage. Out to Nguki Rewa, slips one high into the air, races up after it, knocks the ball forward as he goes together, and through onto him was, in fact, Joppe. And there it is, it's all over. And this year's Sevens, won by the Super A side, leading by 16 to nil at half-time, have taken victory in the end by 26 points to nil. The first try to Suba to Philemoni, the second to Lameki, and that was converted. Wanangolo snaffled the third try well into the half, and they turned around at 16 points to nil. 20 points to nil was Reyes when Poliasi scored his try, and in the end it was Sir Revi who notched a wonderful little try at the end, converted it himself, and Suba 5 tries and 3 conversions and victory in the National Sevens, I think in so many ways just as you would expect. And now a sudden dash of all the children, little and big, across the ground, around the running track. All are now gathering in front of the main grandstand, and all are anxious to get some idea as to who are the lucky 9 who have earned their way to gain the ticket and the representation of Fiji for the trip to Hong Kong. And this is something that'll follow minutes from now as we quickly look back through our records and point out that the ball winner this afternoon was Nasinu, who defeated Bunandawa by 20 points to 10. The plate victory went to Suba C over Rewa D by 18 points to 4, and here now in the final, Suba A took it over Rewa by 26 points to 0. 26 to 0, a resounding victory, and it'll be hard to leave any of the Suba players out when they finally make their decision. And so I expect we'll hear the decision very shortly, and many of you have already made your own selections, I suggest. Amongst the forwards, a number that you might have considered. Antonia from Nandi, Samisi here from Suva, the Nambur club, and Rosari also from Suva, the army player. Don't leave out Peter Naruma in your thoughts. Alvaretian Derry has had a medical certificate that's had him out of play all this week, and he only played a short time this afternoon. Vessi, of course, playing well. Wainangolo, Nambarisi are all names you must listen for. And while they're speaking about it downstairs, I'm going to cross to Matayakola to take you from here. I wonder is Matai there, ready to take it on from here as we await the announcement of the names of the lucky people. Well, we're just waiting then for Matai. Matai will tell us from downstairs the names of the lucky people who've been selected and will be named by the selectors to go to Hong Kong. Okay, the announcement, and I wonder, Matai, if you're close enough to bring it direct from your positions. We've got Matai now ready to bring it to you from where it's happening.
Yeah. You missed one.
Orang na non-family reserve na forward o Satya Sigonolani na back Lenaki Koroi Reserve. Only one change is the very ball coming in place of Satya Sigonolani who's gone to the teams are under their captain Betty Romoni, Meta Karosari, and Simone Waigo, Abdai Kolenda Burutu, Hotele Sereti, Lola Buku, and Timo Molevrata. The reserve, and Unembeki Koroi